What is going on, guys? So first of all, I would like to thank GalacticGod for letting me post on his channel, as I love the opportunity to be able to post on other people's channels, especially someone just like GalacticGod. And if you don't know, my name is WerYugioh. I post discussions, things like that. And I know that GalacticGod does do discussion videos, but for the most part he's openings. So I try to make a video that I feel like something GalacticGod might post on his channel. So I hope it resonates with you guys, and so let's start off with the video. So we're going to talk about the 5 spells you probably forgot about, and not necessarily you forgot about, but that you might have not played in a pretty long time, and that are still useful to some degree in this current game. So without further ado, let's start off and let's talk about the first one. So first one, and my own personal favorite, especially when I was way younger and playing, I used to tick off all my friends playing it. It's called Dark Core. Now Dark Core is a pretty simple card. It's you discard one card, target one card on the field, and banish it. Pretty much, there you go. There's not much further extent about that than that. Now the reason why this card's good, especially in this metagame, is because banishing is so much better than destroying. Yeah, you got Smashing Ground, you got Fissure, Soul Taker, it pops a card if you're going to target it. A lot of targeting effects really isn't good in the game right now, but you know, if you're going to do it, then those are the cards you usually play. But Dark Core, you can -1 and now you can banish it. Out of the field, it's gone, and you don't have to worry about it ever, unless it's like, you know, a deck that, you know, plays off banishing. Now, most people would say, hey, discarding one's pretty bad, but you know, people used to play WerYugioh Break, and WerYugioh Break, yeah, it's a trap and it has a little bit more use because you can activate it during your opponent's turn, obviously. But still, discarding one to banish, I don't feel like is a bad trade-off, so I tried playing it the past few days just to, you know, see how it goes, and I've been pretty happy. I mean, it's not the best or the worst, but I feel like it's a good card, and I feel like depending on whatever deck might come out in the future, I feel like this card might be able to help you out to some degree. And it's just fun to play, because when you play it, people are like, what? Dark Core? Really? Alright, but let's get on with the next one. So this second card, spell card, is one that I still play all the time. It's one of my favorite cards to play, and that card is One Day Apiece. Now, I love One Day Apiece because the drawing is like having a 4th upstart. If you don't know what One Day Apiece does, each player draws one card, and well, neither player takes damage until the end of the opponent's damage step. So if you play it, you don't take damage until your opponent's end turn. So basically, you get a free turn of nothing happening to you. Now the reason why I like this card is because if you're playing like the upstart engine, now you basically have 4 upstarts. Though yes, your opponent draws one, and that's not that great in Yu-Gi-Oh, but you know what? Him drawing another card isn't that bad. And you play it right, like you don't play it like Upstart just trying to draw cards. If you like save onto it and you see you're in like a pickle, play One Day Apiece, you're safe for that turn, you get a card also, and then next turn you can draw your other card, and hopefully those 2 cards you got will help you on with the game. And like I said, it's like an Upstart, so it's basically thinning out your deck to 36 cards, even though some people say it doesn't really do that like Upstart, but hey, you know, that thought process, it's now 36 cards. Like I said though, you probably do not want to play it like an Upstart and just try to get a draw. You want to save it and wait till the right time so you don't die when you use it. Or you're about to die and you use it to maybe give you an advantage or have you stall so you can take out your opponent next turn. Now this next card, people played all the time back in the, just like even a year ago, and now I feel like it just vanished off the face of the earth, especially with Snatch Steal back. I feel like why can't you play both of them? And that card is Mind Control. Now Mind Control is you target one monster your opponent controls until you control it until the end phase. The monster can't declare an attack or be tributed, so yeah, it might not work well with, like, okay, Necros or Monarchs or something like that, but for any rank 4 toolbox, any Synchro deck, taking your opponent's card for the turn and getting rid of it to some degree is still a really great thing. And while Snatch Steal is better for the fact that you can take control of it and use it, Mind Control is more like, I can take it and sync up with it and there's no ill effects. Well, I mean, besides the attacking, but you can sync up, overlay. Especially nowadays with a lot of decks playing level 4s, making Exciton Knight or number 101 at the expense of your opponent via spell card seems like a pretty good move on my end. I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah, if you guys still play rank 4 toolbox decks, you're probably already playing this card, but if you haven't, and you're just using Snatch Steal, I feel like taking out maybe one little trap or something and fitting into Mind Control wouldn't be a bad move. Alright, on to the next spell card, the 4th one. Now this card is an equipped spell card, and I haven't seen anybody play this. Like, ever. I used to play it some. I mean, I'm not saying nobody ever has. Obviously, people have played the card, but I have not seen it in a very long time. And that is Autonomous Action Unit. Now this card is you pay 1500 life points, special summon one monster from your opponent's graveyard, and when this card is destroyed, destroy that monster, kind of like Call of the Haunted, but you pay 1500 life points, and it's only for your opponent. Now, why this is good? Now, you might not necessarily want to main this, but this card has some power. For 1500 life points, I can take your BLS and destroy somebody. Banish, like a Dark Core. You know what I mean? You see what I did there? Especially in this current format, say you got Go-Yo, you Dark Hold. Now you can Autonomous Action Unit. Now I have my opponent's Go-Yo, and I can do, maybe I can make something else my turn. Now you're stacking up. And just for 1,500 life points, you can do 2,800 life points. And that's the example if you're using Go-Yo. If you're using if you take their BLS, something like that. If you, any of these things would be a good move. It's also kind of deck specific because not every deck has a monster that you might want an Autonomous Action Unit. A lot pretty much do, but there, once in a while you kind of play, okay, like Burn. If you go against Burn, probably not going to be that useful of a card, but that can be said about a lot of cards in your deck, obviously. You know, I'm just the Burn master if you haven't seen my duel against H-Ties. But yeah, I haven't played this card in a long time either, but it's a fun card, and I remember playing it, so I was trying testing it just like a few hours before this video, and I was having a lot of fun with it, actually. It might not be the best OP card, because it's not always, you know, it's kind of a situational once in a while. Sometimes your opponent doesn't have, like, the best cards in the graveyard. But when you do use it, it's kind of a good feeling to be like, first of all, nobody sees that card, I mean, ever. And then you're special summoning this beast from your opponent's graveyard, and you're just like, boom! And then you destroy him with his own monster. Kind of the same thing like Monster Reborn, but now it's like, Monster Reborn's gone, so nobody really expects that. It's great. Now, this last spell card is a spell card that I feel like has a lot of use, especially in this current game, and that you don't see many people play it. Once in a while, you see somebody play it in like an OTK deck, maybe once in a while, just, you know, thrown into a deck, but this card I've always loved. And that card is Night Beam. If you don't know what Night Beam does, you target one spell or trap card on your opponent's side of the field, and you destroy it, and your opponent can't activate said card in response to Night Beam. So if it was an MST, you can't chain MST to some other trap card I might have had on the field. And that is an awesome card, especially in this format. They have Vanities face down, Night Beam, gone. Mirror Force on the ground, gone. Not like they can chain Mirror Force, but you know. Lance, can't chain it. It goes on. They can't chain that card that I just targeted to destroy, it's gone. Now, obviously, MST has advantages over this card. You can chain it to other cards, but it's still, Night Beam's got some pros working for it, definitely. I mean, we're running it with decks right now in the meta where there's like an upwards of 10, which is common, what used to be common traps, but 10 to like 16 traps. That is a lot of traps if somebody's playing like a 16, 15 trap build. I want to be safe. I want to be Night Beaming his butt, so he's gone. Yes, I know you could play Royal Decree, but sometimes that's not as viable as just Night Beaming a card. Because they can just MST your Royal Decree and then what? So might as well take out the problematic cards. Yes, MST can take out Vanities too, but it's just like, boom, done. Oh, and if you're playing against Burn, you still want Royal Decrees, but Night Beam also just takes it out. It can't chain and do something else to you. Well, anyways, guys, that is my top 5 spells that you forgot about, probably. Down in the comments below, let me know what your top 5 spells, or just any spell that you like to play that isn't really seen in the meta game. Once again, I'd like to thank GalacticGod for letting me post on his channel. And if you like what you see here, subscribe. I'm sure GalacticGod will have my channel somewhere, but once again, it is WerYugioh. And I'll see you later, guys. Peace!